and I want you to work them by hand. Now, when I say by hand, you can use your calculator to raise something to a square root. You can do that. That's fine. Do not use the statistics feature on your, because that's not what I want to do. I'll show you how to do that when we get to it, okay? That's just what I want you to do. All right. So here we go. Let's pull up the handy dandy spreadsheet, and we're going to do several. And then I'm going to throw in the 5-number summary and the interquartiles and all that. I'm going to do that with you to kind of bring in 3.5 or 3.4. I can't remember which one it is. By the time I get through this week, you should be able to do all of Chapter 3 homework. But I got to cover Z-scores last. So I'll cover Z-scores after I cover the interquartile range. Everybody with me? So you may see, I don't know if Z-scores are in 3.4 or 3.5. I can't remember. So if I don't cover Z-scores, you do what with that homework? You skip it. Yeah, it's called critical thinking. You don't sit there and go, well, I better email him and ask him. No, if I don't cover it, you don't do it. Simple as that. Yeah, somebody will still text me, watch me, or email me. You wait and see. Oh, it's the Russians. Oh, our Indian friend, our Native American friend, not only was not a Vietnam War veteran, but he went AWOL 4 times during the Vietnam War, and now they're finding out he has a violent criminal record. You know, it would be nice if the media would do a little bit of what before they report something? Research. Yeah, isn't that what journalists are supposed to do? Yeah, not anymore. You got that right.
Who's our Native American friend?
Don't worry about it. Just all over social media, that's all over the TV, that's all. The one that supposedly got attacked by the little 14-year-old guy at the Catholic school. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
I know what you're talking about.
You don't have a Facebook?
No, that's out there.
You don't have a Twitter? You don't follow anything? Okay. Well, that's a good thing. That could be a good thing. But you got to know what's going on. All right, here we go. Let's go with something simple. Let's go with 6. All right, so here we go. That's X. And I got to, oh gosh. Why don't they make it, I think they need to make the default size a little bit smaller on this. What do y'all think? A little bit smaller, maybe like 6.5. Yeah, let's go with 8. Yeah, is that small enough? Dang, you turn the God. Somebody turn this thing on when y'all come in here. It's y'all's job, okay? Damn Russians. Okay, right now I got it at 6 because they had it at 8. So I'm going to move it up to about 24. How about that? There we go. Y'all supposed to be doing my job for me. Turn the dadgum thing on before I get here, all right? That's a joke. Let's get it. All right. Yeah, okay, do that. And teach the class while you're at it, okay? I know there's probably somebody in here that probably could or think they could. Oh, I got behind a truck this morning when I had to take my son to school. Shut up, Hubert. Shut up.
I got behind the
Big pipes, big everything. And he had to screech his tires after he let his son off. He had to screech his tires, and he had to hit the chip to make it blow all this smoke. I was like, you're a sad individual. Just hang a sign around your neck that says, I need attention. 28 and 30. There we go. There's 6 numbers. All right, do everything. Including, I want you to take it out 3 standard deviations on the right, 3 standard deviations on the left. Okay? So you got quite a bit to do. I'll give you about 30 seconds. No, I'll give you a couple of minutes. No, there was some Catholic students at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington during MLK Day, and they were wearing "Make America Great Again" hats, and there was some Native Americans. I don't know the whole story. Somebody can fill me in, but there was some Native Americans doing their war chants, which is fine. But they moved over to the Catholic school students and started basically getting in their face. Well, the media, or great media, says that the Catholic children, Catholic students, intimidated or attacked the Native Americans. And it was totally the opposite. And now we find out that not only did they turn it around and, I hate to say this, but present fake news, not only did they do that, but they didn't do their research. They said that he was a Vietnam veteran, and he wasn't. And he had 4 AWOLs while he was serving, which is not good. And he has a violent record. Gotta love the media. It's a conspiracy.
President Donald Trump says.
What?
As our President Donald Trump says, that's fake news.
Well, that's fake news, yeah. A little bit of wall spelled backwards is law. I love Jimmy Fallon when he imitates him.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job.
He does. Okay, mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. And the latest, Bill Clinton, Slick Willie, gonna come out with a new book. Got a little Bill Clinton. He's a hoot.
How to sneak people in the White House?
Yeah. I feel your pain. Hillary, I didn't do that. Now, just to make sure everybody doesn't do everything wrong, I'm going to go ahead and do the mean for you so you make sure you at least got that right, so you do everything's based on the mean. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. There's the mean. I'll let y'all work on that. Yeah, Tyler. Y'all done yet?
No.
Been driving it daily since 2010. I mean, not 2010, 2006. So 2004. 2003, 2007 is the best year in those trucks. In my opinion.
And you, I don't like that you.
Yes, sir. Hubert. What? This is college. You don't have to ask to go anywhere. I want you to go all the way, do everything that we did the other day. Go 3 standard deviations on the right and 3 on the left. You know, draw your normal distribution curve. Put the date down and check him in too. Pass it back, please. Yeah, I gotta get my pipes put on it and get a chip so it'll blow black smoke. I gotta do that. And get me a gallon water jug. Then I think I'll be set. Oh, forgot sunglasses. I gotta get them too.
Only if it's dark outside.
Huh?
Only if it's dark.
Or inside at the gym.
I thought Rams already both of.
What?
I thought the Rams already both of.
No, that's just somebody that doesn't have a good engine. That's just somebody that's got an old engine with the rings burning oil. That's a cheap way to have your truck smoke, but it blows blue smoke when it is using oil.
I have a question.
I'm off the clock right now.
Are these numbers always positive?
They're always, that's why you square them. They're always going to be positive. That's the whole point of squaring them.
Okay, just making
A
sure.
lot of people don't realize that while they're doing it, but that's the whole point of squaring the x minus x bar is so you have positive what? Numbers. Well, I just about swallowed 2 pennies.
I thought you were meaning to do that.
Hmm?
I just literally watched you and I thought you were meaning to do that.
No. I have swallowed a few quarters in my lifetime. You'll figure it out. Well, I don't know. This generation probably never played quarters before. Y'all probably still on the Pong thing. Y'all have no idea what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Google it. Google quarters. Quarters game. Yeah.
You bounce in the belly.
Yeah. But don't do it when you're really drunk because you'll swallow the quarter. Not that I would know, but you know. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What's your question? Well, okay. First of all, have you got x minus x? You got to square it. Put another column, and you got to square those numbers.
You have to square this.
Because it's square. And then when you add those up, then you have the numerator. That's the numerator.
So that's the top.
Yeah. And then 6 minus 1 is what? 5 is on the bottom. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, some of y'all are getting toward the end. I'm going to go ahead and fill out what I'm not going to fill out the variance yet. I'm just going to fill out the easy stuff, okay? Stuff that y'all probably already know. N is what? Odd or even? Even. So I'm going to highlight those two. And I'm going to come over here. And what do you do when they're even? You have to do what to the 2 middle numbers? Add them and divide by 2 or take the average of them. So this number plus this number divided by 2. Mode, None. Put none, none. Okay?
Could you put N/A?
You could put NA, you could put anything that's not a number. Okay? Anything that's not a number that says there's not any or there isn't any or none or nairn or whatever you want to put. Non-applicable. None. Not any. Just don't put zero. And the reason I say that is because some students, what do you associate with the word none?
Zero.
And sometimes you inadvertently put zero there, and then the smart aleck teacher is, even though they know what you're talking about, they're going to mark it wrong just to be a smart aleck. I know y'all don't believe that. Some teachers can be smart. I'm sarcastic. I'm not a smart aleck. If I see a zero, I'm going to put, watch this next time you take a test, or that's what I would say if I did the old test, writing on the test, does anybody still do that? Oh yeah, we're at Tri-County Tech. I forgot, we use posters in class. All right, what's the range? Highest minus the what? Minus the lowest. Oh my gosh, we got another faculty staff work day, and we get to go to the poster class. Watch how other teachers do their posters in class. I hope I'm sick that day. I really do. It's the biggest waste of time I think I've ever had to deal with. I feel sorry for the K through 12 teachers in the district because they have to do that. It's awful. There's nothing worse than a bureaucrat trying to tell you how to teach. If you don't know what a bureaucrat is, then you need to look it up. All right, so what do we do with the mid-range? The highest plus the lowest, or the lowest plus the highest, because addition is commutative, divided by 2. Okay, there's all your numbers. Now, let's take our handy-dandy highlighter, and let's highlight that one, dang old Verde. Verde and Verde. What can you tell me about the data so far? Pretty tight, pretty valid, because you got the center that's pretty much, I can't think of the name, but anyway, it's pretty much the same, pretty much similar, okay? They coincide. There we go. Had to use a big word. They coincide. All right, now let's use the variance. Well, let's put up the formula for the variance, and I do this. Oh, another thing. My 103 class is doing the same thing that we're doing here. So if you need extra videos or extra problems, the 103 video class, I'm doing right now the same as y'all. So I just wanted to mention that. Because they're going to look at yours too, I think, if they need it, for the one person that uses the videos. Anyway, variance is equal to the summation of x minus x bar, quantity what? Over n minus 1. I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom for you. That'd be 5. Y'all are impressed I did that in my head. 5. Okay. Now let's do x minus x bar right here. And then this is going to be x minus what? Quantity squared. And then what are we going to do with that column? We're going to add that up. And that's going to be your numerator. So I'm going to go right here. And I'm going to say equals this number minus this number. And for those of you that know Excel, why am I going to lock it? Exactly. If I drag this down and I don't lock that, it's going to divide 23 by 25.5. It's going to divide 25 by NA and give you an error or an error, depending on where you're from. Okay? If you're from Clemson, you would say error. Anyway, it would divide 26 by 9. It would divide 28 by 25.5. Y'all see the pattern? Okay, so in order to divide or subtract the mean from every one of these, I have to lock that mean right there, and that's why I hit F4 and it put dollar signs around. Now, those of you, I'm talking to those people that know Excel. The people that have no clue what I'm talking about, it's not a big deal. You just do it on your calculator, or on your paper, just like you've been doing. Okay? So I'm going to copy that down. And then what am I going to do with each one of those? Okay, it's supposed to be 5 digits. Okay, I guess it's zeros. I don't know why. Oh, okay, it's zeros. Okay, and add that up. And that is your handy dandy what? Numerator. So I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna highlight that, dang old blue, and we'll color that. It's supposed to be, hold on. I had it lined up. There. And that's gonna be that number right there. And we'll color that blue so you'll see. I'm just trying to associate where everything goes. So your variance is going to be equal to 53.5 divided by what? 5. And what is the relationship of the standard deviation to the variance? Or raise it to the what power? Half power or 0.5 power. So I'm going to take this number and I'm going to raise it to the 0.5 power. Now you see me use 0.5 all the time. That's the calculus teacher in me, because you change everything to an exponent. You don't use a radical in calculus. So that's why I change everything to 0.5 or 1/2. Get used to it if you're going to be in calculus, because radicals don't exist in calculus. You always get rid of them. I take medication. I have to go to calculus every once in a while. That's a good class to teach. Next semester I'm teaching it, I think. No, fall. No, I may be teaching. I think I'm teaching either during the summer or the fall. 1:30. All right. Everybody with me? Everybody good? Questions, gripes, complaints? All right. Now what do we do with it? Well, we go down here and we put the mean in the what? The middle. And I'll color that green so you can, I'm sorry, Verde. And then I'm going to add what? Standard deviation on the right, which is that number right there, plus that. And I'm going to F4 and enter. And then I'm going to copy over 3 times. And I've got to make it bigger. And I'm going to push my numbers out, but you'll be all right. There we go. And then I'm going to do what on the left? I'm going to subtract the standard deviation. F4. And move that 3 places to the left. Now, I've just made my what? What have I just made? My normal distribution that has my what? That has my empirical rule. Okay, I'm still trying to get my dadgum. Just give me a second. Dadgum. Must be a BA number. There we go. All right, so I'm going to draw my handy dandy curve, and I want you to fill the curve out by the empirical rule. So here's my handy dandy curve. And 95% of the population is going to fall between 2 what? Standard deviations, which means this green area is what? Normal. My daughter gets a kick out, I still use that. So that's normal. What's unusual? This one is unusual. And the one on the outside is your 6 foot second graders. So if this was average ages of a nighttime Math 120 class that I took to El Herreros, okay? If that was the average ages, there's 6 people in the class that was average age. What does that tell me if somebody walks into my classroom and they're 14 years old? They're what? They're an outlier. What if somebody walks into the class and they're 26 years old? That's normal. What if they walk in and they're 52 years old? Outlier. Which I'm just making that story up. That's not an outlier in community colleges. There's a lot of 50-year-olds in class. But anyway, this is just an example of ages instead of test scores. All right, who has a question? Now, I'm not doing the 5-number summary. Can anybody tell me why I'm not doing a 5-number summary on this data set? There's only what? How many numbers are there? There's only 6. You can't do a 5-number summary with 5 numbers. You can't do a 5-number summary with 6 numbers. We'll do that when we get into like 8 or 10. I don't know whenever we'll get there. Okay, question. Now, let's see what happens when you throw outlier in there. Let's say that Bobby comes in the class, or is it Johnny? Johnny's the guy that asked all the questions, right? All right, Johnny. Johnny comes in and he's 12 years old. What does that do to our centers? They're going all over the place. So that means we got a lot more variation, which means the spread or the standard deviation is going to be larger or smaller? Larger. The spread's going to be larger. Let's put Hubert in there, 52 years old. Dadgum, we done knocked it way out. I can't even find the dadgum standard deviation. 13. It was what? What was it? 3. So you see what happens when the outliers are in your data. Your spread gets what? Larger. Your center becomes variating, okay? You have a center here that says 30. You have a center here that says 40. You have a center here that says 60, okay? You got variations in center. So this basically is saying you got some what? Screwed up data. Or you got some outliers that you need to what? Throw out. Remember, you're trying to get a good number. If you include outliers, that's not good. So instead of surveying 300 people and having outliers, you might want to survey 325 and then throw out 25 of your what? Unusual or outliers. Okay? All right, let's do a nerd. Let's bump it up to, let's say, 13. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to just type them. I'm not going to title them. So let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. There you go. I'm just doing something simple, okay? Because we're going to do the 5-number summary after this. And then after we do all this stuff, I'm going to show you how to do it on a calculator. There wasn't anything on TV last night, so I had to watch the Insidious movies. Tell you, it's getting real bad on TV. There's nothing to watch. Yeah, I'm very much possessions, haunted houses, and Conjuring, Insidious, and I like my go-to Jason and Michael Myers. I like my go-tos there. I'm not into zombies. I can't stand zombies. I think zombies are the stupidest thing ever invented. No sneezing in class.
want us to draw a bell curve too?
Yep. Yes, sir.
What is, how do you find the N minus one again?
It's, how many is n? How many numbers are we dealing with? 13. So n is equal to 13. N is always what makes up the whole set. So if there's 30 people in the class, n is equal to 30. If there's 13 test grades, then n is equal to 13. It's whatever makes up the set. Yes, sir. I'm going to give everybody a couple more minutes because I want to do everything on the board so everybody can see what's going on. Feel free to ask questions. Miss Sixton, your grandparents didn't tell you any lies, did they? Okay, good.
I believe.
Huh?
I believe him.
See there, you're wrong for that. You shouldn't believe everything you hear about me. First time I met your uncle. Yeah. I was in 6th grade, and my daddy told me to go out. My daddy is strange, but anyway, he wanted me to go out for the C team at Westside, and I was in 6th grade. I was just at Berenis, so I put on my Dillard's pads. I was playing for Dillard's at the time, and I went out there to practice Westside football team, and I practiced with the C team. And Randy was on the C team at that time because he's a couple of years ahead of me. And that's when I first met your family, is when I was in 6th grade.
Did I not tell you to leave?
No. Back then, you could do stuff like that. You know, kids be kids, you know. Nobody sued everybody, and everybody wasn't racist and misogynist and all that. And you could actually do stuff and have fun, even if you did get hurt, you know. And you know what? I survived.
You should see all the paperwork we have to fill out just to play high school sports. Nobody don't know. It's something like
But it helped me because when I was in the 9th grade, I played varsity. So it helped me.
Even though it was at Westside, I didn't care.
Yeah. That was when I played, my senior year was Coach Luckadu's first year. And we went to the state that year. And then the next year we won it. Of course, I wasn't there, but the next year we won it. Hannah did good this year, didn't they? They went to the state, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did they win or lose? I don't know. I don't keep up with it. Well, they still went. That's a good thing.
It was a good game till the fourth quarter, and we fumbled 4 times in the fourth.
Is Mr. Smith still playing or did he graduate? Ryan Smith?
No, he's up at West Point now.
I wrote him a letter of recommendation.
Yeah.
He was one of my students. He was a good kid.
I like that whole family.
As long as he can stay away from the losers, he'll be all right. He'll be dang old be in politics one day. You wait to see what I tell you. He's a good guy.
He's playing rugby up there right now.
Well, good. I hope he don't get hurt.
Yeah, I caught him I caught him the other day.
Yeah.
Like, flipped it over to FaceTime, and the whole left side of his face was purple. He took a headshot, and he was like, it sucked.
He's a good guy. All right, so let's go ahead and fill this out. See if y'all are a disappointment or a winner. One of the two. So here we go. Y'all feel good about yourself? So auto sum divided by, and of course some of these are going to be pretty self-explanatory because they're consecutive numbers. So some of them are going to be, oh, I knew that. See? Now, why do they match? Because you're in sequence. Your data is in sequence. If your data is in sequence, your numbers are all going to be the same. Mode, none. Most of my questions, I don't really care about the mode. The only reason I teach you the mode is because it's on standardized tests, because it's an easy question everybody can get. That's why it's on there. Range is equal to the highest minus the what? Lowest. Okay? Mid-range is equal to the highest plus the lowest. Good. You're starting to get everything down. That's a good thing. Divided by 2. Divided by 2. Okay? X minus X bar. This minus this, F4, copy down, and then this is equal to this raised to the second power. Oops. Oh, man. Add that up. And enter, and that should give you this number. Okay, well, equals this number divided by what? 12? And equals this number raised to the what? 0.5 power.
You want those to round?
Say again?
You want us to round?
Round at the very end. So if they wanted to know the mean, you would say 7, and the standard deviation, if they were asking for that on the test to round to the 100th, it would be 3.89. So make sure you read the directions on the test and the homework. When they say type in the answer, I want the mean or the standard deviation, read the directions, because it's hard for me to count 3.89 correct when they say round to the whole number. And it's supposed to be 4. Okay, so please read the directions, guys. Most of you females read the directions pretty good. Guys and directions don't what? They don't go together, because guys know everything. Okay? They think they know everything. It's the women that know everything. It's the men that think they know everything. You with me? Once you realize that, you'll be all right in life. Okay, now, where is that 7? That midpoint is right there, or that median is right there. I want to find the median for these guys. So how many is above that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. N is equal to 6. So how do I find the median of 6 numbers? I need somebody to be, that's not rhetorical, I need you to interact. Find the average of the middle 2. So I'm going to highlight these. Dang old rouge. Ugh, that looks like orange. And that's going to be your second quartile. I'm sorry, your first quartile. So that's equal to parentheses, this number, plus this number, divided by what? That's how you find your first quartile. Can somebody tell me what, well, I'm going to get there in just a minute. And the third quartile is going to be the middle two numbers where? There. So I'll color those. I don't like to use green too much, but I'll color it that color. There we go. Oops. There we go. And that's going to be that one. And that's equal to parentheses, this number, plus this number, divided by what? There is your 5-number summary. Okay, y'all need some daggum orange juice or something. Okay? Dang old bee pollen, dang old sinus medicine. Anybody got any questions on the 5-number summary? 5-number summary is made up of 5 numbers. The minimum, the maximum, that's the outliers. The median, which it says secum. I don't think secum's a word. Hold on. There we go. The second quartile, which is your median. And then you take the median above and below the what? The data set median. So you take the median of the median. Now there's also another word for the first quartile. And I'm gonna do something right here that's gonna help explain that. I'm gonna color my, I know you got a question, just hold tight. I'm gonna color my pen, my virtual pen, I'm gonna color it green. And I'm gonna put a gas gauge right here. It's supposed to be green, but evidently I just didn't hit the right button, I guess. I don't know. I guess you gotta hit it 2 or 3 times. There we go. A gas tank that reads, all of us know how to read a gas tank, right? If you don't, then I wouldn't tell anybody. There's still some people who don't know what the little arrow means on the gas tank. What does the arrow mean on the gas tank? What side your gas tank's on? A lot of people don't realize that. Chest of drawers, a lot of people don't know that either. Chest of drawers, chest of drawers. Anyway, if you read your gas tank from left to right, which we all do. You done? What'd I say about texting?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I want to make sure I told y'all. All right. If I read from left to right, then that is a gas tank, right? So what is this area right here? I heard. Yeah, quarter. Enunciate and volume, please. Because the first one I heard. Didn't y'all hear that? Did y'all understand it? It was a quarter. All right. So that's your quarter of a tank, which that means what? Quartile. What else could you say a quartile represents? This is 0%. What would quartile present? 25th what? Percentile. So those two things are the same thing. And around here is around 25%. Now it's not, I'm just showing you where the percentiles comes from. That's where that's what, you're not going to sit here and go, okay, well 25% is right here on the, no. I'm trying to show you that you read this thing like a gas tank. This is your what? Your quartile or your 50th what? 50th percentile. Because it's half tank. Or it's your second what? Quartile. Second quartile, whatever you want to call it. And then you got this, which is 75th what? Percentile, or your third what? Quartile, which is 3/4 of the tank, third quartile. That's what these numbers represent. Now remember, you still got your empirical rule, 34, 34, 13.5, 13.5, 2.3, 0.2, or whatever your book has. Some books are different. 2.3 and 0.2, some say 2.2 and 0.3. So you need to make sure, what page is the empirical rule on? Anybody got a book? I thought we established that last time. Nobody's got a book? Anybody?
The old one.
I know, has anybody got one with them? You have one back there?
No.
No. Okay, well, somebody needs to find it in their book on their own. So make sure either this is 2.2 or it could be 2.35 and this 0.15. You need to verify that in your book. I think it's 2.35 and 0.15 out here, I think. So you need to get that. Anyway, all of this fits together. Now, what do you do with the 5-number summary? The 5-number summary basically gives us, hold on a second, our box plot. And I'm going to show you how to draw. Ooh, I didn't want to do that. I want to do the box plot. Let me erase this. And I want to draw a box plot. Now make sure you take good notes here because this is important, because I'll tell you right now, a lot of people go through high school 120 and they don't know how to draw a box plot. These 2 numbers right here, 3 numbers, this number, and this number, set up the number line for your box plot. Write that down. Those 3 numbers set up your number line for your box plot. Now, what do you need a number line for? So you can locate your what? Your box plot. The box plot is something that you locate on a number line. Everybody with me?
Sir.
Thank you for the one-person interaction. I appreciate that. So I'm going to draw a number line right here. I'm going to put an end on it and an end on it, and that end is 1. And that end here is what? And what do you think is the middle number? 7, because that is your mid-range. Mid-range is the same thing as a midpoint. And a midpoint is the middle of your number line. Write that down. Midpoint is the middle of the number line on your box plot. There's 2 parts to a box plot. There is the number line, which you actually use to locate with. And then there's the box plot. You can't do the box plot unless you have a number line. Now we're going to do a little bit of interpolation. Let me check, make sure, because some of y'all are going to look at convulsions in the next. I got 11 minutes. All right. Interpolation is when you take half of half of half of half and you get the numbers you want to graduate your number line. What does graduate mean? Like on a graduated cylinder. What is a graduated cylinder? It's marks on the side of the cylinder, right? Graduated cylinder, graduated beaker, whatever you want to call it. So, what's 7 plus 1? What's half of 8? 7 plus 13 is 20. Half of 20 is? And just keep finding the middle of the middle until you get enough marks that you need. That's up to you as a student. I'm going to do one more. 5, half of 5 is 2.5, which is 2.5. Half of here, or you can just add 2.5, that'd be what? 5.5. 4 plus 7 is 11, that'd be 5.5. 7 and 10 is 17, that'd be what? 8.5. And then 10, 13 is 23, that'd be what? 11.5. Somebody check my math. It really doesn't matter. As long as you're close, you're just finding a place to what? To locate with. Now I'm going to do my box plot. My box plot consists of these 3 numbers right here. Now, what do you think you're going to do with those 3 numbers now that you got a number line? You're going to plot them. So, I'm going to take my first, it looks like dang old orange, but I don't know what it is, so I'm going to use this orange right here because that's what it looks like. And I'm going to do 3.5. 3.5 is right in here. Now, I put my box plot above the number line. If you don't have to, you can put it on the number line if you want to. And then, dang old blue. The things I do for y'all. 10.5. 10.5 is right in there. And then, of course, the yellow, or yeller, depending on where you're from, is 7. And I'm gonna color my box plot with the edges. I'm gonna do it in black. So there is my what? My box plot. Now, what does this box plot tell you about your data? Well, if you put a imaginary normal curve along with that, you see that your data is pretty much perfect. Why? Because the middle is on the what? The middle here is on the what? Middle of the number line, so your data is perfect. This is where you start to see skewed left and skewed right. All right, if you have this scenario, I'm going to go to the whiteboard. If you have a box plot that looks like this, and I'm just going to make up some numbers, 2, 8, 16, okay? And you got a box plot that looks like this, that means you got a curve that looks like that, which is skewed what? All the data's on the left, so it's skewed right. If you have a box plot that looks like this, and you got a box plot that looks like this, all the data is where? On the right, so it's skewed left. So that's what the box plot tells you. And a lot of people, one, don't know how to draw a box plot, and two, they don't know what it means after they draw it. Now, I don't know who that is. Please don't raise your hand and say that you're that person, because I don't know who it is. But I do know in the past, and I've been teaching Math 120 for probably 15 years, okay, out of the 20-something that I've been teaching. The problem is students, they don't know what the stuff means. They don't know what the box plot means. They just know how to look on it on a calculator and regurgitate it from the calculator to the what? To the test. And they don't have any idea what it means. It tells you what your data is doing. And this says skewed right. Skewed right. Let's talk about that before y'all go into convulsions. Okay? Skewed right means that all the data is on the what? A good example is a what test? I'm sorry, not easy. A very difficult test. Now, what is the reasons for a very difficult test? What is a very difficult test? The class average is 42, and you made a 36. That means something is wrong, okay? What does it mean? It means that either the test was not valid, I can't spell, okay? Not valid, or nobody was listening, or the teacher didn't what? Teacher didn't cover it, or a combination of 2 and 3. Teacher didn't cover it. And that's why it is a very hard test. Okay? When you have a test average that's 46, and usually what is an average? What's an average number? What's the average number that goes with your test grades? 70, Hubert. That's right, class. If you get a class average of 46 on the test, that says one of those 3 things. Either the test is not valid. What's not valid? Well, they gave you Unit 2 test and you just covered Unit 1 material. They messed up. Okay? 2, nobody listened in the class, which is going to be very hard, because what's the number 1 rule of life? There's always what? There's always one student that's going to make 100 on the test. So that blows that number 2 out. Okay? It's very rarely going to be number 2, because you're always going to have 2 or 3 people that's going to excel on the test grade. Always. So that takes number 2 out. Or the teacher didn't cover. Now that's a possibility, because sometimes teachers, they cover one thing and then they just pull a test out of the file and it covers what? Something totally different. Okay? So that's when something is skewed right. When something is skewed left, that means all the data is where? It's on the right. So that means it's a very what test? Easy test, or you are all smart, or the teacher covered the material in a way that you all could pick it up. Okay? So skewed right or skewed left, it's always the opposite. All the data is on the right. And with all the data being on the right, that means it's covered, the test is valid, it was covered, it's valid, and everybody what? Everybody listened. Mostly, it's gonna be these two, or it's gonna be not valid, or teacher didn't cover the right material. Okay? Because very rarely is the 2 or 3 people that make 108s on tests, very rarely are they gonna make a 43. You see what I'm saying? Because they're gonna make 108 on a test, and they ain't even seen the material. They just go through and read the book, they got a photographic memory, and they've had the material before, and they make 108 on a test, and everybody makes 43 on. Okay?
There's always that guy.
Always, it's not always a guy. You know what? You're a misogynist.
I was just saying, like,
You're racist and you're misogynist. Just don't even go there. I've already judged you, okay? Yeah. I don't think I said anything.
Okay, good.
Oh, are y'all assuming something? You know, that really irritates teachers when y'all start to assume stuff. Y'all, the convulsions. I know who has the convulsions now. The ones that stood up, okay? All right, y'all can go. Y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all when? Tuesday. So now y'all should be able to do everything except for the z-scores, which some of y'all invented the z-scores, so y'all can probably do them. X minus mean divided by standard deviation. Yes,
I have
ma'am.
a question on the homework, and it was like 50 numbers asking to do this stuff.
Hold on a second. Let me cut this thing off because I don't want to record our whole conversation. Okay. Hold on just a second. See you, man. Cut this off so it can be